a standard Plan G is probably, at age 65, probably going to run about $160 a month. So that's on top of the $185 that you're paying over here. And you add those two together. Well, each year it's going to go up a little bit. And these are made up numbers. But let's say 66, 67, 68, it's going up 170, 180, 190, 69, you're $200 a month. Ooh. Now you're starting to feel it a little bit. And it just continues to go up over time. Now, I get people who are, my mother just turned 80 years old. She has one of these. She would not give it up for anything. You couldn't pry it out of her hands. I don't care what that Advantage plan looked like, what they offered her. She hadn't given up her Medicare supplement. She goes to this doctor, and this doctor, and this doctor. And there's a little bit of a problem with that. She goes to the doctor all the time. There's a little bit of a problem because this doctor doesn't know what this doctor is doing. There's no management of her care in there, and she didn't always remember. She didn't hear real well. For one thing, she's over 80 years old. She didn't hear so well. So sometimes my wife goes with her. She'll come back home. Your mother just took her to the doctor. And I was sitting there, heard everything that they said. And then she walks out of the room, doctor walks out of the room, and she has a completely different account of what the doctor just said. So there's a little bit of a problem in that, but the good thing is that she's got coverage, no matter what she needs. If she needed to go in the hospital, she pays her $257 deductible for doctor visits. She needs to go to the hospital, she just goes. She didn't have to worry about what's it going to cost. She just goes. You could literally be in the hospital 365 days if it was medically necessary. So all of these, the cost per day and all that doesn't matter. This is as close to comprehensive coverage as you can get. It just doesn't get any better than that. You can see any doctor you want to, as long as they take original Medicare. That's the only criteria. There's no networks, there's no referrals, and oh, guess what? There's no prior authorizations. At least at this point, there's none. Now, there is some talk right now, just for the sake of being thorough, I'll tell you, there's some talk right now about 17 procedures that the government, the federal government, may have prior authorizations on in order to eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse, which is a big topic right now in the Medicare world. Those are not likely to be things that will affect you. I'll give you one example. Calling an ambulance when you didn't really need an ambulance. When that happens, they're going to say, we're going to pay that. That happens a lot of times. You get people that they're just lonely and call an ambulance. They're like, that ain't going to work. So you don't have to worry about being denied something really significant. You know, it's, for the most part, if Medicare pays it, it's going to get approved. So you don't have to worry too much about that. Doctors love this, by the way. I think if doctors had their way, they'd like, oh man, I want everybody over there. They don't get their way, but this is kind of a headache for them. They have to call, they have to get prior authorizations, and they have to deal with negotiated rates and stuff. And this is much more streamlined. So these plans are guaranteed renewable, which means once you're in there, as long as you pay your premiums, then they can't kick you out. You can't get sick enough. And they're not going to raise your premiums just because you get sick. It's not like car insurance where you have an accident and they say, oh, well, you had an accident, so now we're going to raise your premiums. They don't do that. The only reason that they raise your premiums is because of age. Obviously, it costs more to insure someone who's 75 years old than it does someone who's 65 years old. And medical inflation, which is a very real thing right now. Kind of how I'll tell you what's going on right now. We had medical inflation moving along at a pretty steady rate, and then we had the COVID lockdowns. It dropped off a cliff. Why? Everybody stayed home. They're like, man, I don't want to go anywhere near a hospital right now. So that was great for the insurance companies. They're collecting premiums and they're not paying claims. So then we get past that, and guess what happened? Big spike in demand, because all of those elective procedures that people postpone, that they put off, they're going back and getting that stuff done. You know, I need my knee replacement, or whatever it is, my cataract surgery. And so now you got this spike in medical inflation, and that's causing these premiums to crank up fairly aggressively. That's a big topic right now.